everybody, Kevin J. Johnston here. Welcome to episode 30 of the Real Estate and Money Show. We have a special, and that special guest is Austin Hess. I think we've all come to know and love him very, very much. He's our Panama connection down here. We'll start off by me explaining a couple of quick things. For the last 2 Wednesdays in a row, we have done a pre-record. We did a repeat of episode number 29 of the show. There was a couple of reasons for that, but the most honest of them all and the most representative of exactly what happened is pure exhaustion. Every single day, I am consulting with between 3 and 8 Canadians and Americans who are having tax issues right across the board. And by the time Wednesdays roll around, I only take Saturdays off these days. So from Sunday to Wednesday, I will see 25 to 30 people. We'll get legal letters done for them. We'll get their taxation started, done, up and running, whatever it might be. The exhaustion kicked in. The funniest thing going was last Wednesday, I had my business partner here snapping his fingers like this right in front of my face because I fell asleep at this computer with my eyes open. Literally like that. I was out cold. So I just reached that exhaustion level. Tonight, obviously, it's live. Today is the 17th of July. It is currently 9:06 p.m. Eastern time. So we are live tonight, and we're going to do everything we can to keep everything rocking for you on Wednesday nights because we adore bringing this type of information to you. So to remind everybody what we discovered last week, that is the Canada Revenue Agency is acting outside of the law whenever they are taking money out of your bank account. Section 323 of the excise subsection 3 of the Excise Tax Act, it dictates clearly that they must get a court order before they can take money from your account, and they do not do that. We have not one, but 3 different CRA representatives telling me that they do not get court orders because they honestly don't believe that they have to. And they have to. Trust me when I say this. So I'm talking to a couple of police officers. I have yesterday. I've got meetings on Saturday by Zoom with a couple of police officers. We're going to do our very best to report Canada Revenue Agency staff for breaking the law, theft, extortion, intimidation, theft over 5,000, conspiracy, and so on. There you go. So I'm still fighting the fight for you, Canada, to get taxes to be either lowered or reduced to zero. Why? Because I want you all to talk to my partner down here in crime, Austin Hess in Panama. Take the money that I save you in taxes, and you're going to be buying property down here and living a very happy, comfortable life. And welcome back to the show, Austin Hess. Long time no see. Looking good as always.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Kevin. Good evening, friends from afar. Hello from beautiful Panama.
All right. Well, yeah, this town is absolutely remarkable. I'm really at home here. I love Panama City. I've had a good time in other places like Cologne and Panama Pacifico, Coronado, and others. And I'll be finally checking out David in 2 weeks. I'll be reporting to people on that, what I think of the town. But let's talk about my home now, Panama City. Austin, you've been here for how long?
Gosh, I'm going on in January. It'll be 13 years. You know, I came here really by mistake. You know, I had sold a business in Hawaii in the reason being was to move to Australia, and I had a great opportunity in Australia, and that transaction took place a lot quicker than I thought it would. And I was at the bar that night in Maui, Hawaii, Kihei, and my buddy Reed's like, dude, I'm going to Panama in 5 days, and I'm going for 3 months to find gold in the river, and you're not leaving for Australia for 4.5 months. You want to go with me? And I was like, yes, I definitely do. A little bit of the reason why I got to doing what I do so well for Panama, my passion for this country, is because my own ignorance. You know, I went home that night, I got on the computer and I saw, some indigenous Indians with face paints and all this and teepees in the back. And I thought I was literally moving to the Amazon rainforest. So again, my own ignorance gave me the reason to put together, we do publications. Currently, we have the Restaurant, Travel, and Lifestyle magazine. We obviously do a lot of real estate and travel vlogs on our channel on YouTube, Do Panama. For anyone that wants to check those out, see what's going on, see what's hot on the market. And
Right.
I just fell in love with this country. You know, I'm big on the universe. I'm big on energy and feelings. And everywhere I turned, it was like you, Kevin. I mean, gosh darn it, you're new here. And every time I talk to you, you're like, dude, I'm more in love today than I was yesterday with this country. And it happens to most people, you know, like when you come down here and you remove yourself from the hate, the negativity, the drama, the racism, the classism, all this crud that a lot of us have back in the US and or Canada. You know, I hear, you know, a gentleman was telling me today that there's a lot of people coming from Italy right now. Same thing, you know, obviously we're more focused on the US and Canada because that's where we're from. And, you know, no, you know, obviously we help out anyone that we possibly can in relocating, investing, or retiring in this country. But yeah, it's just so interesting, you know, like the beauty that life is when you wake up every morning and you're like, thank you, God, for putting me in this magical place. You know, obviously I live in the city. I'm right here on Avenida Balboa with the magazine and with the real estate company, you know, being that we do have affiliates throughout the whole country. Our company covers the whole country. So I get to travel a lot. And that's I think one of my favorite things. You know, safety is a big one for me. The cool expats that have come to live here are all very unique individuals. And then a real big one is the different destinations and how easy it is to get to those destinations. I mean, from here to Bocas del Toro, it's a 55-minute flight, and you're in Pirates of the Caribbean for adults, like more taxi boats than taxi trucks type place. Just super cool. You know, you have beautiful places like Boquete and Banao and Cambutal and Pedesi and El Valle. Obviously, the Coronado, San Carlos, and Buenaventura beach towns. You have the Pearl Islands, which are really beautiful. And then Terra Azul is another nice mountain town. Of course, San Blas is a magical place that will change your life. Gilligan's Island style, right? You go out to these 365 islands in this archipelago on the Caribbean side. And it's just so special, you know. We have 4 archipelagos throughout the country, 2 on the Pacific, 2 on the Atlantic. And then, you know, it's just, it doesn't get boring. You're always having a really good adventure. You can do a lot in nature. You know, any nature lovers out there that love to get out and hike or do water sports or anything, golf. I mean, it's warm 365 days a year. I think that's one of my favorite things. And, you know, being from the Pacific Northwest, you know, like when I came down here and Panamanians were like, you like it here? And they're like, wait till rainy season. I'm like, you know, I was so scared. I was freaking out like, oh, what's this horrible rainy season? And it's not that. It's actually what I've come to call green season. It becomes so beautiful. Yes, when you look at the weather on the internet, it says 100% chance of rain. But what they forget to mention is usually that 100% chance of rain is going to last about 10 minutes to 30 minutes and then be gone.
Okay, so Austin, I got to comment on that because you picked me up at the airport when I landed in Panama for the first time in my life. And I asked you, when does the rainy season start? And you said today. That was back in April. So I can tell everybody out there, we've had one day in this rainy season of rain that lasted more than an hour. It's usually about 10 minutes.
Like a full day rain, you're probably looking at 25 full days of rain a year. Depending on where you're at, right? Depending. You know, some regions will obviously have their own microclimates that do their own things. But being the city rat loving metropolitan city guy I am, I live here in the city. I like the fast pace. I love how many incredible restaurants there are here. I mean, so many authentic restaurants. I mean, you literally have famous, amazing Italian chefs moving from Italy to Panama. Same thing from Germany. Same thing from Austria. Same thing from all over the world. You know, I have great friends from Australia. I have great friends from Italy, Canada, US. I mean, it's just a big melting pot here. And because of that, we have an incredible gastronomic scene. So anybody that's out there that's like, man, I love food and I love eating at amazing restaurants. I mean, you literally, it would take you three years to eat at every restaurant if you ate out every night. You know, every good restaurant. You know, obviously there's some you probably just want to avoid, but you know, that's why I make a magazine called The Restaurant. And if you're not here in the country yet, you can also check it out online at therestaurantpty.com. So if anyone's interested in knowing more about the restaurant scene, those publications are all digital as well.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's dive right into it. As it turns out, I have spoken to a couple of building owners in Panama, and I was asking, because Canadians are having such a difficult time with the Canada Revenue Agency, the CRA is shutting down bank accounts and just stealing money out of bank accounts. So there are people in Canada that have about $200,000-$300,000 in the bank, and they've got debit cards, like debit Visa cards or debit MasterCards attached to them. Well, as it turns out, Austin, we can buy condominiums here on a credit card. Just go whoop, and it's done. So let's start talking about the kinds of properties people can get their hands on for less than $250,000 here in Panama. Please, you're up. You know everything here. You know everyone here.
I do want to step back a little bit on that. Usually when you're taking a credit card with start a purchasing process here in Panama, that's typically going to be with a developer. And typically that's only going to be your reservation deposit. Just to clear that up, I always want to make sure, I don't want people coming down here and be like, give me a $500,000 condo on my credit card, because I don't think it will work.
No, it's definitely directly with developers. You are correct to say that. They'll do the whole thing. And that's just a quick way to get your money out of the country legally.
Definitely. But, you know, we have a lot of Canadian clients. We have a lot of US clients. And I've never seen anyone really have any real issues. Sometimes a little time delay because of the amount of money they're moving. But, you know, opening a bank account in Panama is super simple. It takes about an hour, hour and a half usually. All you need to do to open up a bank account in Panama is you'll need a letter of reference from your attorney that would be doing your immigration, which is very easy to obtain. And you'll need your last year's tax returns. And that's just to show that you're not a bad guy doing bad guy things, right? So that's the way the banks do it. It's super simple. Again, you can open a bank account. You don't even have to be a resident of the country yet to have a bank account. You do not need to be a resident of the country to own property. You know, we have a lot of clients coming down buying like legal Airbnb units and getting the residency and still living back in the US or Canada. And the idea there is, hey, I can make a nice 8 to 13% return on investment on this rental property. It gives me also the comfort and just the well-being of knowing that, hey, if you know what hits the fan, I got somewhere to go and call home other than where I'm at right now. So we're seeing a lot of people do that, obviously, for, again, multiple different reasons. Whether you're from the US and Canada, we don't really need to talk about that. It's not like no one's living under a rock anymore. You got the social media, it's in your face everywhere. And it just seems like, you know, again, everyone that comes down here, I think that's my favorite part, is watching clients, you know, not just the first month or 2 or 3, but 3 years later, you know, where I'll see them at a restaurant and they'll be like, oh my God, I love you so much. Thank you for taking the time. Because like, I would rather take more time and make sure you get exactly what you're looking for, and you be happy, not just now and in 3 weeks, but in 5 years, where again, you're happy. And that's why I'm able to take the time with each client, or I want to take the time with each client and make sure that they're finding exactly what they're looking for based on, you know, a couple things. And, you know, the number one way we do that is a relocation survey, which, by the way, it's on our website, dopanama.com. When you answer that relocation survey, it's just, you know, it's 23 multiple choice questions. The last question is, how did you hear about us? Make sure to tap on that Kevin J. Johnston button so that we know that you came from Kevin's show. You know, we have a lot of clients that are doing these relocation surveys from Kevin. We actually I had a really good Zoom call this week, Kevin, with one of your guys. Super excited to have run into us. So again, it's great what you're doing, and putting people, you know, in the fast lane to finding paradise.
Well, I can say to everybody out there, you know how stressed out I was being back in Canada in October last year. Then you saw me get a little bit stressed out in Costa Rica, mainly because the only industry that I could find in Costa Rica was real estate with minimum investments of 500,000 US. It didn't have the amazing food that we have here. It didn't have a subway system in the city. It doesn't have a bus system. We've got almost 25 kilometers of monorail being built just outside of Panama to get people into the city. We've got a 4-lane highway going in. which is going
Well,
all the
I
way out
mean,
to Florida.
the monorail goes from the airport all the way down, like where you're staying. I mean, you can ride the metro train from there over. Now it's going to go underneath the entrance of the Panama Canal and out towards Costa Verde. It's just incredible. You're right. It's so, it's a very booming country, and it's exciting to be a part of it. It's so exciting to watch. Either things are stagnant, but once they reach the top, there's not much more you can go. But Panama, it has so much potential, and it keeps growing and it keeps impressing. We just voted in a new president. He just took office, but we also have like our new mayor, the mayor of Panama City. I think he's younger than me. Young guy, super ambitious, started doing awesome things for the country well before he was even in public position as the mayor of the Panama City. And now it's just, it's awesome to watch. This country's so, there's so much good things happening in it. And again, I love being a part of it. I love helping people find the way here,
Oh, and the metro that we talked about, this is what it looks like, everybody. That
Ooh.
isn't that amazing? And I was on that train less than 2 hours ago. It's 35 cents to take the subway train. The subway is bigger, better, broader, faster, cleaner, and safer than Toronto ever was. It is a better metro line than what Montreal and Vancouver have. It is a great train line. I know on TikTok you can't see it, but I'm showing it right now on freedomreport.ca. So you can get anywhere you want in this city fast. And if you like,
and we should mention too, Kevin, because usually every client that comes here is like, how much is the Uber ride? Like usually in the city, $2 to $5 anywhere in the city. To the airport, I don't know, $20. It's just so affordable to get around, and so easy. You can use the same Uber app you have on your phone back home. You just bring it here. Obviously, if you have a SIM chip here in Panama, you're able to have data on your phone. Very easy to do. They can do that right inside the airport for you as you're walking out. But if you don't, you can just jump on Wi-Fi at your hotel, at your Airbnb, or wherever you are at a restaurant and order up your Uber. Makes it super, super simple.
Oh, we have a comment here. Bruce is saying this show is only for city people. Absolutely not, because Austin can get you properties way outside of Panama City. I've actually seen some of them in the town of Coronado, which is about an hour and 50-minute drive west of Panama City. It's on an amazing beach. And if you like surfing and you like harsh waves, you get those at high tide. And there are a lot of surfers that were in that area.
So we'll just show this real quick. This is a section in our magazine. So we break it down. This is the beach towns, Boquete and more. Go to the other way, the beach towns. So we show and feature properties from all around the country. Tennessee, Vanal, Bocas del Toro. So yeah, it's, Panama is not that big of a country at all. So, obviously we have a huge network of affiliates. My whole reason for starting Do Panama was to help the buyer and to make sure the buyer's being taken care of. Because here in Panama, it's not typical like it is in the US or Canada, where you have a seller's agent and a buyer's agent. Here, usually a gentleman or a young lady will get a listing from their third cousin's husband or whatever, and they'll list that property on Facebook, and then they'll find people and they'll represent both the seller and the buyer. And it's like, well, who's taking care of the new guy, right? And that's why we founded Do Panama, because of the publication and just my love for Panama. I built a huge network across this country. I mean, we have over 98 real estate affiliates around the entire country. Every single town, we have an affiliate in that town. So no matter what or where you're looking to go, we have people that, again, these are all people that I've vetted personally and that I would trust with my mother or grandmother.
All right. Question here. Isn't Panama eventually going to go the way of Costa Rica, outrageously expensive? Well, I'm going to say no to that right now. And the reason I'm saying no to that is I spent almost 6 months in Costa Rica, and I can tell you that all of the hyperinflation, it's artificial. All of it's artificial. And it's
here they actually put some subsidies for, the government's very good to the people here. And like when all that hyperinflation was going on and gas prices were going out the roof, Panama subsidized the gasoline. They subsidized like 150 types of foods, like food groups. Like they did a lot for the people because of what was ever happening with the shipping. And you remember all that genre, all that fun stuff. And yeah, I mean, I don't see it, because it's impossible. You have a minimum wage here of $650 a month, and these people have to live too. So things can be more expensive, but the right things are inexpensive, like 2 pineapples for $1 out of the back of a truck driving down the road. Like, it's so cool to pull over, grab 2 fresh pineapples that taste like candy for $1. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe the Lucky Charms cost a little bit more, or the Fruit Loops, but you got to get away from that food anyway. That's kind of the part of leaving, like leaving those bad habits behind.
True. So to just give a quick cost comparison here, today, I really felt like grapes and pears. I really had to have them. So Bartlett pears, I got my hands on 8 of those and 3 pounds of wine grapes. Those big ones you can crush into wine. The purple, they're so good. Yeah, $3 for all that. All right, I turned around and got myself a cup of coffee for 50 cents. I just swallowed that fast, and I had a cappuccino for $1, and I walked through town with my fruit and my cappuccino, yip-yapping on the phone to this guy here. So, I mean, it's just a phenomenal experience here. So will Panama be as expensive as Costa Rica? I don't think it's going to be, no, because Costa Rica doesn't have the canal, does not have the Panama Canal. Costa Rica also made a mistake. Austin, I don't know if you know this, but the mistake that they made is that they put the kibosh on aviation fuel being sold all over the country because they figured that would stop drug trafficking within the country. So what's happened here is all the small airports that normally would take cargo and passengers, you can't get aviation fuel anymore. You got to fly to San Jose, the capital, refuel there, fly back to your small airport, pray you have enough fuel to do your flight, and then get back to San Jose for a refueling. It's foolish because what happened here is the drug cartels, they modified ultralights to run on gasoline, regular gas. They land on the beach at 4 a.m, load their drugs, unload their drugs, and take off. And there's no way for the police in Costa Rica to stop them. Also, what happened is the entire west coast of Costa Rica got bought up by vacation specialist experts. So all the houses are about 4 times the price they should be. When the day that I paid $9 Canadian, $6 US for a yogurt this big, I said, I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I had been talking to you for about a week. I said, Austin, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm out. I'm gone. All right. So there is a big problem with that. And Panama did not go the route of being militant with any of it, aside from the fact that it has a militant, quasi-military watching the north shores of the country, stopping drug lords from coming in there. But they didn't stop the economy to do it. So your thoughts, go ahead.
No, I think you're spot on there. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen. Same thing with housing prices. We've been in a buyer's market for a long time, and I think that's going to end very soon. It's incredible. Last time I went out to distribute the magazine, I could have someone else do it, but it's kind of like a vacation in a work. You go do an hour and a half of distribution at each location and stay a couple of days and enjoy life. And, obviously I have affiliates in all these places as well. And I like to meet with them and talk, shop, and see what's happening with the market. And it's incredible how many places it's like sold. It's like, whoa, like this buyer's market's about to not maybe be a seller's market, but you're probably going to start, you're not going to be able to make a $20,000 or $30,000 under asking price offer and get it. Right now you can't, and you still can. And there's a lot of people, I have a lot of offers coming in on different properties through our affiliate. And it's incredible. It's incredible, like how many people from the US and Canada are coming right now. In the last 3 months, it's just been insanity, like beautifully insanity, to the point where I had to get another vehicle. And, one of my relocation specialists that sits at the Hilton desk, he's been a lot more active in the vehicle, getting people to appointments with some of our affiliates, to attorney offices to get immigration started. where I would just be doing it myself before. Now we've really picked up the pace there, and again, people are obviously finding something that we're looking for and
Oh, yeah.
ready to call Panama home.
Well, I've been looking at office space for rent right downtown, and I mean right in the downtown core. You've got in some cases with 700 to 900 square feet of office space for $500 a month. It's unbelievable how inexpensive it is to run a business here. Kent is asking in the TikTok room here, what about farmland? Can you buy farmland here in Panama? Go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot of farmland. There's also a lot of land that was, back in the day, Panama told the Panamanians, you can have whatever land you want. You just got to turn it into a pasture and have cattle on it. So some of these cattle farms have been turned into farms as well. There's a ton of growing that happens here in Panama. We participated in a organic farm being sold about 3 years ago. We do have another listing coming online very soon. We'll be making a video, I think, in August where it's, I think, gosh darn it, it's like 300 or a couple hundred avocado tree orchard. So, and this guy, he has a little B&B, and he also sells avocados, and it's like, that's freaking awesome. And he loves it, right? He's loving life. So yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunity, whether you're looking for something that's built, you're looking for land and to build. We obviously have a network of great builders. If you're looking for farmland, if you're looking for coffee plantations, I mean, you name it, there's something out there. And again, with our network, I think that's what makes Do Panama so strong, is that not only do we make really cool videos, I have an amazing videographer and video team that make incredible videos and make me look really good. I love them for that. And, we put these videos out every Wednesday and we get thousands and thousands of views. I think our top viewed video on Facebook is over 130,000 views. So, we have obviously a YouTube channel as well, Do Panama. And, you might not find that farmland right there, but of course, if you get in touch with us at info@dopanama.com or take that relocation survey, just make sure to let us know you came through Kevin, and we can start doing the searching for you, depending on what your budget is, how much space you'd like to have, what type of food, if it's already growing, would you like to be purchasing, or if you're looking just for land to start a farm.
And Kent is also asking, what is the land worth per acre? He's looking for farmland here in Panama.
It's going to vary. I mean, everywhere is different. We go by a lot by square meters here and hectares. But we can do those conversions and definitely get the pricing. But I mean, one land here is going to be different from here and there and there. It's all different. It depends on so many different variables. So again, those are little details. Once we get into it with each client, understanding who they are, what they're exactly looking for, that's when we can get those finite details for them.
All right, Kent. So what you got to do is let us know in advance there what kind of land you're looking for, what you want to grow, what kind of animals you want to steed on it. I mean, that'd be pretty wild, right?
There's actually a project not too far from the city. They just contacted me soon. They're not quite ready yet. They're like doing the zoning right now, but it's like a homestead. Like everyone's going to have their own farm in their backyard, and this guy can grow this and this guy can grow this and trade. And I just thought that was a pretty neat idea for a development, So again, lots of things happening here.
Oh yeah, there definitely are. I'm watching a lot of projects get built up here. I'm watching a lot of gentrification too of the old part of town. I'm seeing some absolutely gorgeous remodelings of buildings that are over 100 years old. It's just phenomenal.
Well, and it's so awesome. Obviously UNESCO came in once they made this a World UNESCO Heritage Site, Casco Viejo, that is. It was obviously a lot of work to preserve these, what they call calicanto, which is the original walls. Some are 500 years old. But now that it's been done, and now that restaurants are in these spaces, and you go in and you eat a nice, beautiful fresh seafood dinner, and you got this, it really sets the mood. It really makes the places so much more special because that you have that preservation that, obviously they renewed all the problems with each of these buildings, but they kept, the history about them too.
Yeah, they did keep the history. Casca Viejo is absolutely beautiful. And anybody who wants to come down to Panama, you'll find that there's quite a few direct flights now from Toronto and Montreal straight to Panama City. And if you're flying in from Vancouver, Calgary, Seattle, anywhere in the northwest of the United States or the far west of Canada, or even central Canada, you get about an hour to a 2-hour stopover in Houston, and then you're right back on the plane down here to Panama City. And of course, if you are going to come and check things out, I will meet you at the airport. We'll get you into a car, and we'll eventually get you to see Austin here, who's going to show you everything that you'd like to see. Because the idea now, everyone, is the stress levels in North America are going to remain high. Regardless what happens with the election this year in the United States and next year in Canada, you have to remember that the federal banks in Canada lose their charter on June 30th of next year, which is not going to create bedlam, but it's going to create a lot of problems for a good half of the population who haven't moved their money into provincial banks or out of the country, which I highly recommend you do, because Austin, as it turns out, some of the bigger banks here, even if you only put $5 in the bank, will start you off at 5% annual. And if you put more than 500K in, you're up to 12%. Whoa, you can live off the interest alone on the money you make in these banks here in Panama. So let's talk a little bit now about finance, if you could, please. What does a Canadian do, or an American do, or a Brit or an Aussie do to get a property? Walk us through it step by step, please.
And you're speaking on financing, right?
I'm speaking on financing. Yes, they see a property that they like. They like your hat, which I do. So they say, I'm going to go with Austin because of the hat, only because of the hat. Well, how do they get financing here in Panama from a remote location?
So I'll be very honest. It is not the easiest to get financing in Panama. They are lightening up. I've had a lot of discussions with banks trying to figure out the reasoning and just let them understand that, you're giving, nothing against the Panamanians, they're amazing people, but you're giving the Panamanians loans, but you won't give the expat a loan because they could go back home. Well, they're not coming here to go back home. And if they do lose their job, they'll find 20 new jobs in the morning, because that's the style of people that move here, that are a little bit more go-getter, a little bit more outside the box type people. And so I've gotten banks to really open up a little bit more. Most banks right now, they're going to ask for a 50% deposit. So you're going to have to put 50% of that sale price down. And they are also most of the times going to require that you have 2 months of mortgage payments in a savings account, your savings account at their bank. There is one developer too that, saw this and said, hey, I need to do something for these people, help people out. So they do milestone payments and pre-construction. But even after that key is handed to you, there's one project that I like a lot that I've gotten involved in as well, that even after I get the key in my hand and I start renting it out, it's a legal Airbnb building. I got it for investment purposes, but I have in-house financing with that developer at whatever the current interest rate is at that time. So that's another thing. Now we're talking interest rates, very, very important. There are no fixed interest rates in Panama. So I mean, obviously, if anyone knows finance, for me, that's, I don't know, scares me a little bit, but hey, it is what it is. And the reason is really Panama follows whatever the U.S. market is. So currently the interest rate for foreigners is 8%. But again, hopefully that will go down here soon. And even if you have a loan, it follows the United States. So if the interest rates go down in the U.S., the interest rates will go down here in Panama, and that will adjust for your loan as well, because it's not a fixed interest rate.
Gotcha. Okay, a couple of quick things here. Can Canadians own land in Panama? Yes. You don't even have to be a resident. Can you open a bank account here?
And let's emphasize on that though, because a lot like the U.S. and Canada, when you purchase land here, you get a title. It's not like some of these Asian countries where you get a rights of possession for 25 years or 100 years. No, you have a title, and you can put that titled property in your name, in a corporation or a foundation. So that's so important. And now, why do people put them in foundations? Well, It's just easier going through the process after you pass away, getting it to your beneficiaries, the succession process takes around 2 years. If it's in your name, getting it to your kids or whoever your beneficiary is. When you have it in a private foundation, it's, you put those in your bylaws. Hey, when something happens to me, this goes to this person, X, Y, and Z, and you can just list out exactly how everything should work and how it will go for the future of that, for that private foundation. So yes, you can own land here. Yes, it's titled in your name or in the name of a company that you own or a foundation.
Okay. And yes, you can open a bank account down here. And yes, I will help you get your bank account open down here. I can also help you get your corporation and your corporate bank account opened here in Panama with minimal effort. As Austin said earlier, it's a little bit of work, but not really all that much. You can expect after you get your passport, your identification, your letter sent in to the bank, you'll have anywhere between a 15-minute and a 30-minute conversation by Zoom with the bank manager. They'll ask you questions. They want to make sure that you're not stuttering or that you actually speak English or French if you're from Canada, either one. But they will ask you to do things like open up your passport and fan through it to make sure it's all legit, bounce your credit card off your face a bit to make sure it's real. These are things that they do. They want to make sure that you're real and everything that you have in your hands is real before they start opening up bank accounts. But once that's done, you're good to go. And you can start transferring money down here with Swift codes and it's minutes, not hours, it's minutes to get things done like this. I love it. They've made banking. I know, Austin, you told me it was tough, and you're not wrong to say it's tough. But when you have the right bank managers now, which we do, it's not easy, but it's smooth.
Well, again, opening the bank account is not tough. The tough part is getting the loan. And again, it was impossible a few years ago. But, slowly and surely, their banks are opening up a little bit more, understanding that, hey, yeah, you're right. Why are we not giving a loan to this foreigner that is very qualified to have this loan?
Gotcha. Now, question here. A gentleman owns a landscaping company in Canada. Is there a need for landscaping and soil removal and so on here in Panama?
That's going to be tough. You got to think about the market and what the market pays. I've had people ask me the same thing about a plumbing business. Well, here in Panama, to change a faucet, they're going to typically charge you $30. So if you think that's good money, then yeah. But some of these jobs, like especially landscaping, yard maintenance, is usually done by Panamanians and done for pretty inexpensively.
Got you there. I guess catering then to gringos, catering to Americans and foreigners, that would be the way to go.
You'd have to maybe do something. Obviously, the fact that you speak English would be huge, but maybe if there's a method to what you did to make it better and be more American or Canadian standard, then you might have something,
Got a question here. How hard is it to get a visa if you're Filipino from the Philippines living in the Philippines?
I'd have to look at the 50 friendly nation visa countries, but you would have to buy. So any person from any country in the world can apply for the qualified investor visa. Now, currently that visa has a $300,000 investment threshold. However, on October 10th of this year, that is going to go up to $500,000. So you would need to purchase a property of more than 300 now, and as of October 10th, $500,000 to then apply for your qualified investor permanent lifetime residency.
Got it. Okay, so it'd be a matter of to Google friendly nations visa with Panama, and if it says Philippines, then yes, you can start the process.
Yeah, I haven't had anyone from the Philippines. It might be on there. There's 50 countries on there, or of course you can email us info@dopanama. We can set up a Zoom call, start talking really what you're looking for, and that would be one of the things that we could find out for you as well.
That's fantastic, and that is dopanama, dopanama.com. Take the survey. You'll see Austin's lovely face and his lovely hat there on the homepage in the video. To the right, it says, boom, like big blue button, take the survey. take the survey. It's all just point and click answers to the questions.
Super simple.
My name. Don't forget to do that. Click on my name, and Austin will call you faster. And he's going to call you to discuss what it is that he knows you're now looking for because you've answered the questions. He'll put you into the right kind of structure, building, land piece, or anything else for you.
It just gives me a really good foundation to understand each client, and it will make all of our lives easier. Because I can, and it's great too. People are answering that, and they're like, well, I want to live in the mountain town, but I want to see the beach. And it's like, well, okay, well, you can live in a mountain town and be an hour and a half from the beach from this way and 2.5 hours on the Caribbean side. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I like that, and again, depending on each person, then I really just have a really good foundation, like I said, to go into the call with.
Yeah, it's fabulous. And it's an easy survey to take. I've taken it myself. Just click, bang, it's done. All right, that's all there is to it, everyone. All righty. So if you have any questions, we'll go ahead and take the questions from you. We're on Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Kick, and a whole bunch of other places. So throw your questions in the room, and we will address them. How much is it to buy? Oh, here's a good one. How much is it to buy a business condo suite? So I suspect you're talking about a building that has multiple shops in it. Is that a common thing here? Go ahead.
So, a business condo suite, it could also mean, I don't know, they can just go a little more detail on that. If that's a legal Airbnb condo unit, if that is the case, just over $200,000, depending which villa you are looking at. Some of them, actually, I think there's even where you're at, there's one for 153,000 starting at. Again, you got to also consider that you're going to need that purchase for the Friendly Nations visa, which is for every United States citizen and every Canadian. $200,000 investment will get you the Friendly Nations visa. There's also 48 other countries on there. But again, typically we're working with US citizens and Canadians. So again, I just don't know off the top of my head the other 48. And again, it really depends on so many things. Is that going to be in Boquete? Is that going to be in Bocas? Is that going to be in Panama City or Coronado? It's really hard to say like, hey, it's going to be this amount. But again, if anyone wants to dive in deeper and get more information on this, we could definitely help you out with that.
Yeah, well, you're definitely the guy for that. And it's okay. So we're being asked if it's legal to open up a business here as a foreigner. Yeah, we've covered that. It is. Is there anything specific they should know if they want to come down here and open a business?
So yeah, there are a couple of highlights there. So one thing is there's some protected professions. Some of those protected professions are doctors, nurses, school teachers. Now, let's say you want to open up any type of medical procedures. Now, you wouldn't be able to be the doctor, but you could be the owner and you can be there to manage your asset. You would have to have licensed Panamanian doctors in your practice. But yeah, you can own any business you want here, except retail. So as a foreigner, you can't do retail.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
my friend was opening up an ice cream shop in Chitre, and he had to do something he had to get a Panamanian partner because they considered the ice cream shop retail. Who knows? Restaurants, a lot of foreigners have restaurants. You can definitely open a restaurant here. Hotels, bed and breakfast, Airbnb, rentals, definitely can have those here. So many different businesses. I own a magazine. I'm a partner in a real estate company. So again, there's all businesses you can start here, except retail.
I know that. I do taxes and I do corporate purchasing out of Panama here, and we also now have a medical corporation. So for Canadians who have an 18-month wait for an MRI, come get your MRI here. I can get it for you in a day. Yeah, in a day. And I'll be working with Austin here that when you do come down for major surgeries or anything major at all to do with your body work or your blood work, Austin and I are going to get you a place to stay that's close to the clinic. So that's what we are going to be doing down here for everyone. Just like Austin said, I came down, registered a business, got a bank account, we're ready to go. And we already have a gentleman coming down for hip replacement. And we have cancer screenings that we're doing. And you know what? I can't mention it because YouTube will censor us. But you know what? That thing that, with the needle thing they did in North America, and people are getting clots here and everywhere else. We're doing the D-dimer scans down here now, looking for blood clots and those long white growths that you get in your arteries. And we can clear that stuff out. The medical down here, Austin, is phenomenal. You did not oversell this place. I think you undersold it when you and I talked on the phone. So, yeah, you can do what you want here in Panama. The government's not going to get in your way unless it's retail. But you know what? I don't think you want to do retail here. You know why? There's so much competition. There's a main street that I walk up here. It's a nice cobblestone street. Every single store is open for business, Austin, and they're all making money. They've all got customers all the time. Everybody's excited all the time. It's a 6-kilometer stretch of retail stores, and they're all busy. It's too much competition. And everyone's slapping cash down. Everyone's buying with cash. It's remarkable. It's like the 1980s. There you go. Your thoughts on retail? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. You go to the malls here, it's insane. It's like a theme park. Buying, there's a lot of buying happening. Panamanian culture loves they love their fashion. They love to stay trendy. And, it's a super, super cool country for sure.
Oh, the malls, everybody. I am going to start. I have a couple of folks coming down who are cameramen. We're going to start going everywhere. I want you to see how modern and clean the malls are. There's a mall here called Albrook Mall. The building's a kilometer long.
I think
Oh, there he is. There we go. You're back. Austin, can you hear me?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you're back. You skipped out. Yeah, it's a massive mall. It's a kilometer long, this thing. It's right beside the Panama Canal. It's remarkable. And it's modern. It's clean. And then you've got the other two big malls. There's Town Center and the other one, I forget its name, the one in the center there by the banks.
Multi-Central.
Multi-Plaza. That's one. That's it. These malls are clean and amazing. Multi-Plaza's got a bowling alley with something like 60 lanes in it. It's ultra modern stuff, man.
Chuck E. Cheese, gaming things, Funlandia. I have a child that's under the age of 10, so I get to do all these fun kid things still. And Panama doesn't disappoint. Go-karts, batting cages, lots of football and outdoor spaces, lots of, even on Sunday, they close down the main road here, Avenida Balboa, on the eastbound lanes, all around the Cinta Trace, which goes around Casco and out to the Amador. They shut down all the eastbound lanes until noon. So from 5 in the morning till noon at 5:30, you go out there, ride your bike, skateboard. Just so cool. A lot of people go out on Sundays and do that. Very friendly country to people that like to be active.
Yeah, it is. And I've had zero problems in this country. And I mean, not a single solitary one. I'm ecstatic with it. We meet people all the time. The what do you call that? The America's Cup soccer was on recently. So we'd be walking through the town. We'd get locals. Hey, gringo, come. So we'd actually be invited into their homes or into their backyards, watching the soccer game, eating their food. They're barbecuing everything for us. So yeah, people say that they're
very lovely community, very lovely culture for sure.
Oh yeah, we had a blast doing it. And as soon as the gringos show up, what happens? The music's on, and all of a sudden we've got every woman there making sure that we dance with them. Now I can't dance, but whatever it is, I give it my best shot.
Well, Kevin, this has been fun. I do have a Zoom call at 9:00 I got to get ready for, but I appreciate you having me on. Again, anyone that's out there thinking about Panama, go to our website, dopanama.com, take that relocation survey. It's free. It takes a few minutes. It's all multiple choice. Make sure to click on Kevin's name on that last question, please and thank you. And again, my team, once that survey comes in, my team will get in touch with you with some instant recommendations, and then also be in touch with you to set up a complimentary Zoom call with myself. We can go over the answers to your questions. I can point you in the right direction and see what's going to work best for you down here in Panama.
I think it's all going to work out just fine. Austin Hess, dopanama.com. Thanks for being here. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, guys. Have a beautiful night. Cheers
from
Panama.
Cheers, brother. Thank you. Austin Hess, guys. He knows everything about the country, and that's why I love working with this guy. So to recap what we discussed here tonight, as foreigners, you can buy property anywhere in Panama and own the title. So it is not a land lease. There are countries that'll do 10-year, 25-year, 99-year land leases. And yes, okay, so you can will the lease. You can pass it on to your kids or to your kin or to whomever, but it's still just not worthwhile to be dumping money into a lease where the same amount of money could go into a title. And that is why Panama is such an amazing place for foreigners to invest. Now, the other thing would be banks. So right now, if you're a Canadian or American, it is $950 Canadian for now to get a bank account open at one of the big 5 banks down here. That'll get you a bank account with whatever amount of money you want to put into it. $5,000 US minimum, so about $8,000 Canadian gets you that bank account. And right off the hop, you'll be earning 5%. And the more you add, the higher your percentage rate is going to go. And I will facilitate that for you down here in Panama. In fact, because where I live, I literally can walk to 52 banks within 1.5 kilometers. That's a 15-minute walk. I can go there. In fact, it's so easy to walk around this town that in some cases it's faster to walk than it is to bother getting the Uber in the first place. And Austin's right. We are paying $2.50 for most Uber rides, 35 cents for the subway, 25 cents to ride the bus, 50 cents for a good cup of coffee, $1 for a piece of cake. You know, it's unbelievable how far your dollar will stretch here. Randy's asking, any idea on price per acre down there? No, there's no one uniform price because different regions have different pricing. Now, we are looking at right now, to give you an idea of land, there's 60 acres for sale just north of Panama City right now. It's forested. It's not really thick jungle. It's forest. That's selling for $150,000 for 40 acres. No, that's north of the city. You could actually get downtown Panama City from that location in about a 30-minute drive. So where do you want to be? Do you want to be close to Panama City? Do you want to be close to Cologne in the north? Do you want to be close to where all the gringos live in David on the far west side of the country? Kent is asking, do you own a car down there, Kevin? Not yet. I don't need one. I can walk anywhere in Panama City. I can walk, and I literally mean there's nowhere in Panama City that I can't walk to. And the train is incredibly fast. The Ubers are cheap. I would rather let someone else drive in the traffic. It's thick traffic here at rush hour. Let someone else do it for $2. Oh, come on. Yeah. Kevin, are you familiar with the Wise debit card and credit card? I absolutely am. WISE.com. Wise is how you get Canadian bucks converted to US and then sent down here. All right. Oh, and Friendly Nations Visa in Panama, that would be newpanama.com. So we appreciate knowing that, Martin. Thank you for letting us know. We unfortunately are going to have to get going here in the next minute, mainly because we have to take this show and we have to repeat it now on all of our social media platforms. Tonight's show is going to repeat all night long. We thank you all very much for being here. It's a pleasure, as always, to have you here. If there's any questions whatsoever about Panamanian real estate, please do go and talk to Austin at dopanama.com. That is dopanama.com. REI Wealth. Kevin, are you going to talk about taxes later tonight? I will actually be talking about taxes over the course of the next couple of days. RE Wealth, head over to TikTok, tiktok.com/real Kevin J. Johnston. I'll continue this conversation there. So we certainly do appreciate everyone being here tonight. My name is Kevin J. Johnston. This is the real estate show that takes place every single Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk about Panama, we talk about getting out of Canada and the United States, and we talk about how to beat taxes and get rid of all personal and corporate debt in Canada and corporate debt in the United States. Do greatly appreciate all you being here. And we'll see you tomorrow on the political show, the Kevin J. Johnston Show, freedomreport.ca. Good night.